Hi, this is Fabio Amurri, and this seems to be one of my last videos for the Big Bang Orchestra series. I had the chance to preview Zodiac, and in this video I would like to give you my first impressions and tell you my 5 top features after spending few hours with this library. I would start saying I love the idea of having these supermassive ensembles as the Z chapter of the series. But it's not just about the numbers of players. This library really provides you of the full dynamic range of these ensembles. And here we come to my first top feature for the library, which is the fortissimo layer for brass. We all know how many brass libraries failed in delivering full consistency from the pianissimo to the fortissimo, and many other libraries failed in providing a smooth and realistic transition amongst dynamic layers. That's why in the first musical example I want to show you how smooth is the transition from the piano to the fortissimo in Zodiac, and how strong and rich is actually this fortissimo. And obviously it works brilliantly even with a faster transition. The library actually provides you of dynamic swells, short and long, that with the additional stretch feature of the synchron player lets you play natural recorded swells. But you will notice how all the articulations I'm gonna play in the next musical examples make no exception in terms of dynamic range and consistency. And that leads us to my second top feature, that has to be the 9 trombone staccatos. Don't get me wrong, the horn staccato were a tough contender, but I have a feeling that the synchron stage acoustic shines when it's about trombones. But horns also deserve the podium in this video. Actually, for many reasons, but I've chosen the fact they have been sampled up to the F5, and the sound is just perfect from the piano to the fortissimo in all the instruments range. And if you are one of those extreme guys, don't forget to try adding saturations to your brass. Remember to check amongst the Synchron Mixer presets, or use your favorite plugins. For example, I love the Vienna Exciter Pro from the Vienna suite. The solo mic option for the strings got my attention straight away. And it made me remember that music is all about contrast. And sometimes the best way of creating a big sound is presenting a smaller sound first. So that when the big sound comes, it hits harder. In the next example, I created automations to control the volume of every microphone. So you will hear the solo mic dominating at first and then all the other mics increasing. And to me, it really sounds like from very few musicians, more and more players start playing. Let's play the same example, but just cellos, because I think that shows even better how gradually you start hearing more and more the acoustic of the synchron stage. And my last top feature that actually applies to every Big Bang Orchestra chapter is the articulations mapping, which is consistent amongst all the chapters. And this is not just good for our memory, but because once we programmed our musical idea, we can move it around sections and quickly finding the sound we're looking for. For example, the next one is a staccato passage on horns, where I want to repeat the phrase first in piano and then in fortissimo. So I programmed it with the 12 horns of Zodiac, and then I had the idea, why not to try the 4 horns of Jupiter to play the piano part. So let's hear how the full phrase sounds with just the 12 horns. And now I just have to cut the phrase and copy the first half to the Jupiter horns and see how that sounds. And also that make instant to double up sections, like the next example where the same idea is played first by 8 violas of Vega and then repeated by the 8 violas plus the 20 violas we find in Zodiac. So these were my first impressions and my 5 top features of Zodiac. I hope you enjoyed the video and see you next time.